Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video is a special one. We're doing Sending Sunshine. It's a blog hop. There's going to be some YouTube videos, and it's all to pick up a friend. You know, we're in this crafty community, and when someone is going through a hard time, it's nice to be able to come together and try and just give someone a reason to smile, you know, sometimes even through the hard times. So for the card I'm making, I am going to do some ink blending with the Distress Oxide inks. I'm using Bristol Smooth Paper. This one I want to say is a Canson brand. I don't think I used theirs before. I've used Strathmore, which I really love their Bristol. So I wanted to try this one. And Distress Oxides, I find they tend to blend better on Bristol Smooth. So like even if you're someone who's had trouble with it before, you can really get a nice blending of colors, or at least a smooth transition, I would say. And my trick is to always go over it a couple of times with each color. So like I make sure to leave the ink on the brushes, and then I just continue to blend until I get it to look exactly the way I want. And then we're going to come from the top with the Stormy Sky. Now I did one of these cards off camera, and I wound up using a darker blue, and I like the combination with it, but I just like the softness of these particular shades kind of blending together. And for the sunshine part for me is going to be the embossing that we're going to do on top of this panel. So once I get it blended to the way that, you know, I'm liking the way that it transitions, we're going to make sure that our stamp is where it needs to be. And then I'm going to put down some EK Success powder and try and make sure to put the powder all over the image, so that way none of the embossing powder will stick. And we're going to ink up our stamp with the Versamark ink, and I'm using a stamp from Brutus Monroe. And of course, at the time of the voiceover, I've put it away, so I can't even tell you what the name of it was. But I just love this because it's a frame, and it's all flowers, and it leaves a center section where you can stamp a sentiment, and it also comes with a sentiment that can go in the center. And the sentiment, I think, in the center, hold on one second, because I did it on the first card. It says life is better with friends, which would have been perfect, and I think a good sentiment when you're trying to send a card to someone. You just want them to know that you're thinking of them. But I decided that I wanted to use a different sentiment. And my crafty bestie, who I like hang out with the most, probably in the crafting community, she lives in Jersey, I live in North Carolina, so we video chat a lot and craft together at the same time. She gave me some stamps from Close to My Heart, and in one of those stamp sets it had a sentiment that I'm going to be using on this particular card, which is the one that I'm sending out to Miss Jenny to send her a little bit of sunshine. And the sentiment is going to read, "A little hello to brighten your day." So we're just going to make sure that the heat tool heats up, which will make the heating of the embossing powder go a lot quicker. And we're using the Glitz, I think it's the Glitz, hold on, the Gilded Sparkle from Brutus Monroe. And it is so shiny and bright. And to me, there's nothing better than embossing. It was probably the first thing I really learned that was just a huge wow factor for me when it came to making cards. And like, I could almost emboss every card and I would be so happy. But, sometimes it doesn't always, necessarily have to be everything embossed, but I just love it. It's a technique that I've always loved from the very beginning. And using my Misty tool, I'm going to stamp this twice using the VersaFine Clair and the Nocturnal, I believe, ink. And then I'm going to take some clear embossing powder and I'm going to sprinkle it over the black ink. And what that's going to do is when I go to melt this, it's going to give the sentiment a little bit of a shine. So even though it's not sparkly, when the light hits it, it gives it that raised look and it's just got a nice shine to it. It's like it's a step up, I guess, on the finishing touch, And while the paper is hot, I kind of roll it to get it to lay as flat as I can. But I'd already had a plan for this particular card. So I'm taking some fun foam that I still had out from a previous project. And I'm going to use my cutter, which is kind of off camera at the moment. But I used it to cut the fun foam down to a 6x6. It is not 6x6 because my card is not 6x6. My card size is actually 5.5 by 5.5. Okay. And so my pattern paper, my paper that I colored and embossed, I made that 5.25 by 5.25. And so that's what I measured the fun foam to be, like almost right at the edge. So it's just almost the same exact size. And thankfully it's black fun foam. So it's just going to blend in with the pattern paper that we're going to put this on top of, which is 1/8 of an inch bigger. So the matte paper is 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. And I'm just trying to make sure I have this as even as possible to where you can see a little bit of that black edge around all 4 sides. And then I'm just going to rub my final piece just to make sure any of the powder that we had put on it has been removed. And we're going to once again use our art glitter glue with the tape runner, giving us some wiggle room time if we need to pull it back up. And then we're going to give this, I always try and use my bottom edge to kind of measure. And then there you have it. And it's nice and flat. It's not buckling at all. Even like a few days later that I'm doing the voiceover, it's just laying really nice and flat. And then I'm just taking some of the Nouveau drops. It's the gold, the glitter gold. And it's not very, it's not like the solid metallic gold. It's a nice drop. It almost dries with clear with a little bit of like glitter mixed inside, but it's that same gold tone as the Gilded Sparkle from Brutus. So it blends in, it goes with the project very well. And up here, you can see I was slightly off with my stamping on my first one. So I learned my lesson on that, and then I like the lighter blue. Now on that particular blue I want to show you here, I used chipped sapphire. So that's how that got darker up at the top. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really hope this card brings Jenny just a little bit, just brightens her day a little bit, you know what I mean? Because it's sometimes life just feels crazy overwhelming, and it's nice to know that there's people out there thinking of you who want to send you something just because, so Jenny, this is for you, and I do hope that things get better for you and that that we're all here for you. So thanks again, you guys. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And look down below. There's going to be links to some of the other ladies. So that way you can see and hop along, check out the blogs, all that good stuff. Thanks again, you guys. And I hope you have a great day.